The tech industry has enjoyed seemingly unstoppable growth over the last 5 years, but in 2022 it finally hit an immovable object, a slowing worldwide economy. Tech companies big and small have eliminated tens of thousands of jobs this year, as executives cited inflation, rising interest rates and lower sales in digital advertising as all putting pressure on their financial outlooks. The breadth of the layoffs has been breathtaking, affecting every part of the tech sector from farming robots and cryptocurrency to social media and semi-autonomous vehicles. The tech industry has been hit harder than other sectors during this economic slowdown. In account of layoffs at companies who cut more than 100 people this year, NBC News estimated about 89,000 people have lost their jobs. This count doesn't include jobs lost at smaller tech firms, though, which seems to have pushed the number of tech company layoffs this year to more than 137,000, according to layoffs.fyi, a project of San Francisco entrepreneur Roger Lee. Here goes a list of the layoffs hammering the tech sector this year, with more than a month still to go before the calendar turns. November, Hewlett-Packard, 4,000 to 6,000. The computer maker said in a November 22 statement that it planned to reduce global headcount by about 4,000 to 6,000 people over the next few years. Twitter, 5,200. A week after billionaire Elon Musk bought the microblogging site, he laid off about half of Twitter's workforce November 4, according to CNBC. Later, Musk said the company's economic picture was dire, and he kept cutting down to 2,300 people left, according to Business Insider on November 21. Carvana, 4,000. The online used car dealer said November 18 that it was laying off 1,500 people, according to an internal email obtained by CNBC. In May, the company had another round of layoffs affecting 2,500 people, according to a securities filing. Some found out over Zoom calls. Neuro, 300. The maker of autonomous delivery vehicles told employees in an email posted online by the company that it was cutting 20% of staff, or about 300 neurons, on November 18. Amazon, 10,000. The online retail giant is in the process of laying off about 10,000 corporate and tech employees, though the total number of impacted workers remains fluid and the process will continue into 2023, CNBC reported November 17. Amazon paused corporate hiring November 3. The company declined to comment beyond a November 17 blog post by CEO Andy Jassy, who provided no exact figures. Roku, 200. The entertainment platform said in a statement November 17 that it was cutting 200 employee positions, reducing headcount expenses by 5%. Orchard, 280. The home buying website announced 2 rounds of layoffs in posts on LinkedIn on November 17 and on June 23. Industry publication Inman said the layoffs affected 280 people total. Cisco, 4,165. The networking company told the Silicon Valley Business Journal in a statement on November 16 that it was cutting about 5% of its staff. iFit, 300. The maker of exercise equipment, including under the Nordic Track brand, told the Salt Lake Tribune on November 14 that it was cutting 20% of workers, which the newspaper calculated to be about 300 people. A spokesperson for iFit declined to confirm whether that calculation was correct. Vive, 100. The manufacturer of prefabricated building supplies a category known as Prop Tech told the Silicon Valley Business Journal on November 14 that it was cutting 30% of staff while it shifts focus. SEMA4, 750. The health testing and research startup said November 14 that it was cutting 500 jobs, a few months after it had already cut 250 jobs and saw its president step down, according to statements the company gave to Moby Health News. UiPath, 450. The maker of automation software said in a November 10 security filing that it was cutting 6% of its workforce. Earlier, it said in a June 24 securities filing that it was cutting 5% of its 4,200-person workforce. Meta, 11,000. The social media company which owns Facebook and Instagram said it cut about 13% of its workforce November 9. CEO Mark Zuckerberg blamed the slowing economy for hurting ad sales. Cameo, 167. The app that allows celebrities to sell personalized videos laid off 80 people on November 9, the information reported, citing a statement from the company. CEO Stephen Galanis announced a layoff of 87 people in May. AvantStay, 187. A vacation rental website, AvantStay has announced 2 rounds of layoffs this year, including cutting 144 people, or 22% of the workforce, on November 9, the industry news site Short Term Rentals reported. AvantStay did not respond to a request to confirm the figures. Route 467. The auto insurance startup said in a letter to shareholders November 9 that it was cutting 20% of headcount. The Columbus Dispatch reported the total came to 137 jobs, in addition to 330 jobs cut in January. Blend Labs, 520. The company, which makes software for lenders, announced job cuts 3 times this year in regulatory filings, 200 in April, 220 in August and 100 on November 9. Fly Homes, 400. A service for home buyers, the Seattle startup had 2 rounds of layoffs this year, including one in July that affected 20% of staff, GeekWire reported, adding that one source said 200 people were affected. It laid off another 40% around November 9, an employee wrote on LinkedIn. Fly Homes declined to comment further or provide exact figures. Redfin, 1,332. The real estate website and service cut its headcount by 862 on November 7, including by eliminating its OC pound buying service Redfin Now, according to a securities filing. Back in June it cut 470 jobs, according to an earlier securities filing. Salesforce, 999. At Most, the business software firm, which occupies the tallest building in San Francisco, eliminated fewer than 1,000 jobs November 7, CNBC reported. It employed 73,541 people as of January. Salesforce did not respond to a request for a more specific number. Zendesk, 350. The software company specializing in customer support said November 7 that it was cutting 5% of its workforce. SFGate reported the total jobs affected as 350. Zendesk did not respond to a request to confirm the number. LYFT, 743. The ride-hailing app had 2 rounds of layoffs at its corporate offices this year, 60 people in July, according to a memo reported by the Wall Street Journal, and 683 people November 3, according to a securities filing. The second round hit 13% of the company. Stripe, 1,100. The online payments company cited OC pound a different economic climate including inflation and energy shocks when it cut about 14% of its staff November 3. CNBC calculated the cuts affected about 1,100 people. Stripe declined to confirm that calculation or provide exact figures. Opendoor, 550. The home flipping business, facing a turbulent housing market, said in a blog post that the cuts November 2 came to 18% of its workforce. Chargebee, 142. The startup, which makes software for businesses to manage subscriptions and billing, cited market conditions for the cuts November 2. TechCrunch reported citing confirmation from the company. Chime, 160. The online bank announced November 2 it was laying off 12% of its workforce, according to a statement provided to CNBC. Upstart, 140. The internet-based lender cited a OC pound challenging economy in cutting 7% of its workforce November 1, according to TechCrunch, which cited confirmation from the company. Gem, 100. A maker of recruiting software, the startup cut a third of its workforce November 1, the information reported. Gem did not respond to a request to confirm the numbers. Octoberbooking.com, 226. The travel website said in a regulatory filing October 31 that it was closing a Michigan call center. Fifth Season, 100. A startup focusing on robotics for farming, Fifth Season shut down and laid off the entire company, the Pittsburgh Business Times reported October 29. The company did not respond to a request for confirmation. MindBody, 400. The company, which makes booking software for gyms and yoga studios, laid off about 400 employees around October 26, according to the Pragmatic Engineer, a newsletter. MindBody did not respond to a request to confirm the number. Zillow, 300. The real estate website cut 300 positions around October 26, or about 5% of employees, as part of what it called OC Normal Business Process. TechCrunch reported, citing confirmation from the company. Fundbox, 150. The maker of a financial platform for businesses cut 42% of its workforce, according to CTech October 25, citing a letter to employees. SNYK, 228. The cybersecurity company said that the cuts represented 14% of its workforce, CTech reported, citing a company statement October 24. It was the second round of layoffs this year. Cerebral, 400. A startup that provides mental health services, Cerebral cut 20% of its workers October 24, Insider reported. Insider cited an anonymous former employee as saying that, as part of the cuts, about 400 care counselors were laid off. Cerebral confirmed the 20% figure but declined to comment on the total number of people affected. Khoros, 120. The maker of customer experience software cut 10% of its staff, or about 120 employees, the Austin Inno reported October 21. Khoros did not respond to a request for confirmation. GoPuff, 2,000. Months after eliminating 1,500 staff members in July, the delivery service said October 20 it was cutting another 250 jobs in October. It also had layoffs around March, putting the number close to 2,000, Bloomberg News reported. GoPuff did not respond to a request to confirm that number. MX, 200. The banking software startup went through a restructuring, the Salt Lake Tribune reported October 19. MX did not respond to a request for confirmation. Microsoft, 2,800. At most, the software and cloud computing company had 2 reported rounds of layoffs this year, one in October affecting fewer than 1,000 people, Axios reported October 17, and one in July that eliminated less than 1% of its 181,000 employees. In an email to NBC News, Microsoft declined to provide a specific total. Clear Capital, 378. A real estate tech firm, Clear Capital cited rising interest rates for laying off 27% of staff, TechCrunch reported October 14. TechCrunch calculated that 378 people could have been affected, given a previously announced headcount of 1,400 employees. Clear Capital confirmed the 27% figure to NBC News but declined to confirm the number of people affected. HelloFresh, 611. The maker of delivered meal kits said it was closing a facility in the San Francisco Bay Area, Business Insider reported October 14, citing state regulatory filings. Pacaso, 100. A startup that allows people to co-own vacation homes, Pacaso slashed 30% of its workforce, industry publication Inman reported October 11. Pacaso confirmed the numbers to NBC News. Brex, 136. The maker of business financial software cut 11% of its staff, TechCrunch reported October 11, citing confirmation from the company. Noom, 500. A website for health coaching, Noom laid off 10% of its staff, TechCrunch reported October 11. Noom did not respond to a request for confirmation. Beyond Meat, 200. The plant-based food manufacturer said it cut about 19% of its workforce, according to an October 10 regulatory filing. Momentive, 176. The parent company of survey site SurveyMonkey said in an October 10 regulatory filing that it had laid off 11% of its staff. It said it had 1,600 employees as of December 31, 2021. Momentive declined to confirm the total number of people affected. Peloton, 4,600. The maker of stationary bicycles announced a fourth round of layoffs this year, cutting 500 jobs October 6. The biggest cut was in February, when Peloton slashed 2,800 jobs, Engadget reported. Peloton did not respond to a request to confirm the total. Landing, 110. The apartment rental site said it was restructuring after a move from San Francisco to Birmingham, Alabama, according to an October 6 report from Alabama.com, citing confirmation from the company. Homey, 159. The home buying and home selling website told the Deseret News on October 4 that it had laid off 40 employees, after previously laying off 119 employees in February. September. TruePill, undisclosed. The health testing and diagnostics company had 4 rounds of layoffs this year, including one for 175 people and another for 150, TechCrunch reported, saying the most recent was September 29. TruePill Chief Growth Officer Doreen Bortel said in an email to NBC News that the TechCrunch figure was not correct and that while TruePill had made OC-pound workforce adjustments this past year, our headcount has increased year over year. She declined to provide an exact figure of people laid off. DocuSign, 671. The website specializing in electronic agreements cited a general restructuring for eliminating 9% of its workforce, according to a September 26 regulatory filing. SFGate estimated that 671 people were affected. DocuSign confirmed the 9% figure but declined to give an absolute number. Nadig, 110. The crypto firm told employees September 22 that it was cutting about a third of its workforce, the Wall Street Journal reported. Nadig did not respond to a request for confirmation. Klarna, 1,000. The online lender went through multiple rounds of layoffs this year, including one in September that brought its headcount down to about 6,000 from 7,000 at the start of 2022, TechCrunch reported, September 22, citing a company spokesperson. Kitty Hawk, 100. The electric aviation startup said September 21 that it had decided to close up shop, and it warned that layoffs would go into effect in November, SFGate reported, citing state regulatory filings. Curative Health, 109. A startup that offered COVID-19 testing said September 20 that the cuts were part of a change in priorities, Modern Healthcare reported, citing state regulatory filings. Twilio, 865. The company, which specializes in communications tech for businesses, laid off 11% of its workforce, according to a September 14 regulatory filing. Twilio had 7,867 employees as of December 31, CNBC reported. A spokesperson for Twilio said the company would not confirm the number of people affected. Taboola, 100. The cuts announced affected 6% of the digital advertising company Yahoo's workforce, CTech reported September 13, citing a letter to employees. August. Snap, 1,200. The owner of Snapchat said in August it was cutting 20% of its staff of more than 6,000 employees because of slowing ad sales, CNBC reported August 31, citing company confirmation. It also scrapped plans for a photo-taking mini-drone named Pixie. GoodRx, 140. The telemedicine company announced the cuts August 30 in a securities filing, affecting 16% of its staff. Packable, 510. The online retailer said August 23 that it would liquidate and gradually lay employees off as it winds down the business, CNBC reported, citing a company memo. Doma, 560. The home buying tech company laid off 250 workers August 19 on top of 310 job cuts in May, affecting about a quarter of its workforce in all, according to Inman, a real estate news site. Wayfair, 870. The online retailer of furniture cut about 5% of its headcount, according to an August 19 regulatory filing, as growth slowed from a pandemic-era boom in online shopping. New Relic, 110. The startup, which makes software for other software developers, announced the cuts August 18 in a securities filing. Malwarebytes, 125. The August 17 layoffs at the cybersecurity company affected 14% of its workforce, TechCrunch reported, citing a company co-founder. GoHealth, 800, an online marketplace for health insurance. GoHealth told the Chicago Sun-Times on August 11 that the cuts affected about 20% of its workforce. Nutanix, 270. The cloud computing company said in a securities filing August 9 that the layoffs represented about 4% of total employees. Groupon, 500. The coupon company laid off 15% of its workforce August 8, citing £OC overall business underperformance, TechCrunch reported with confirmation from the company. Vroom, 337. The vehicle marketplace said in a securities filing August 8 that it had cut 337 positions since announcing a restructuring in May. iRobot, 140. The maker of robot vacuum cleaners cut 10% of staff after Amazon bought the company, GeekWire reported August 5, citing company confirmation. Jam City, 150. The video game developer said August 4 it had cut 17% of its headcount, citing the £OC challenging global economy, VentureBeat reported. Jam City did not respond to a request for confirmation of the total number of people affected. 10x Genomics, 100. The biotech company laid off 8% of staff, GenomeWeb reported August 4. 10x Genomics confirmed the numbers to NBC News. Healthcare.com, 149. The health insurance marketplace announced the job cuts August 3, Miami Inno reported, citing state regulatory filings. Latch, 245. The home and office security company said in a statement August 2 that a cut of 115 jobs affected 37% of staff. An earlier round of job cuts in May affected 130 people. Robinhood, 1,140. The stock and crypto trading app said it slashed 23% of its workforce August 2, affecting about 800 people, SFGate estimated. It was the second round for the company this year, after cutting 340 people in April. Robinhood did not respond to a request for confirmation of the total. July Ribbon, 136. A startup that allows homebuyers to make cash offers for a fee cut 1/3 of its staff, Inman reported July 28, citing company confirmation. Rivian, 840. The maker of electric vehicles including delivery vans said in July it was laying off about 6% of its workforce, CNN reported July 28, citing an email from management. Shopify, 1,000. The e-commerce website said July 26 it was laying off about 10% of its workforce, citing a slowdown in the growth of online shopping after a coronavirus-fueled boom, CNBC reported. Upgate, 130. The cybersecurity firm told employees July 25 that it was cutting 22% of total staff, according to a securities filing. Rad Power Bikes, 163. The maker of electric bikes had 2 rounds of layoffs this year, 63 employees July 21 and 100 employees April 12, according to GeekWire, which cited company confirmation. Gemini, 170. The cryptocurrency exchange founded by the Winklevoss twins cut 7% of employees, or 68 people, around July 18, TechCrunch reported. A month earlier it had cut 10%. Gemini did not respond to a request for confirmation of the total. Invitae, 1,000. The genetics startup said in a July 16 securities filing that it was laying off more than 1,000 employees. Calibrate Health, 156. The weight loss startup cut 24% of its workforce, Bloomberg reported July 15. Calibrate Health did not respond to a request for confirmation. Fabric, 120. The robotics startup said July 13 that it was laying off 40% of them, TechCrunch reported, citing company confirmation. Tonal, 262. The fitness equipment manufacturer told CNBC July 13 that it was cutting 35% of its workforce. Argo AI, 150. The autonomous vehicle tech startup laid off about 5% of its workforce, TechCrunch reported July 7. Argo AI did not respond to a request for confirmation. Celsius Network, 150. The cryptocurrency platform said July 3 that the cuts would affect a quarter of its staff, CTech reported, citing a company blog post. The company later filed for bankruptcy protection, and in an October 11 court filing said that 102 staff had left the company since it filed for bankruptcy. June. Enjoy Technology, 400. The gadget retailer cut about 18% of its workforce as it filed for bankruptcy, Crunchbase News reported June 30, citing bankruptcy filings. 150. The online grocery app cut 10% of its employees, Business Insider reported June 29, citing anonymous sources. We declined to comment on the number of people affected. Unity, 200. The video game company laid off £OC slightly more than 200 people or 4% of its workforce, Protocol reported June 29. A spokesperson told NBC News that over half of them got rehired within other parts of the business, so in the end only about 1% of the workforce was affected. StockX, 120 cuts at the sneaker seller affect 8% of headcount, The Information reported June 28. StockX did not respond to a request for confirmation. Q Health, 170. The medical testing company confirmed the job cuts to Mobi Health News on June 27. AppLovin, 300. The advertising startup cut 12% of its workforce, AdExchanger reported June 27. It affected about 300 people, the Silicon Valley Business Journal reported, citing company confirmation. Netflix, 450. The streaming service laid off about 300 employees, about 3% of headcount, in the wake of slower revenue growth, CNBC reported June 23. It had laid off 150 employees a month earlier. Masterclass, 120. CEO David Rogier tweeted June 22 that he was laying off 20% of staff. It affected about 120 people, the online education company told TechCrunch. Intuit, 715. The tax and business software firm said June 22 that it was overhauling its business and prioritizing £OC the most important work. Tesla, 3,475. Musk said June 21 that the electric car maker Oko's layoffs would affect around 3.5% of its overall workforce. Tesla said it employed 99,290 people as of the end of 2021. More than 500 employees were laid off at one Nevada factory, according to a lawsuit by former employees. Tesla did not respond to a request for confirmation of the total. Summer Bio, 101. The COVID-19 testing startup announced June 20 that it was shutting down and laying off 101 workers, according to Bay Area Inno and the company Oko's website. Notarize, 110. The online notary service told the Boston Business Journal on June 15 that it was cutting 25% of its workforce. Coinbase, 1,101. Of the largest cryptocurrency exchange companies said June 14 it was slashing 18% of its jobs, marking the beginning of what some analysts called a possible £OC crypto winter. BlockFi, 170. A crypto lending startup, the company cited a £OC dramatic shift in macroeconomic conditions when it slashed 20% of its staff, CNBC reported June 13. Crypto.com, 260. CEO Chris Marsalek cited the broader market downturn in trimming 5% of its corporate workforce June 10. Stitch Fix, 330. The online fashion company told CNBC on June 9 that it was laying off 15% of salaried positions. Onet Rust, 950. The maker of privacy software cut about 25% of its workforce, citing £OC capital markets sentiment in a June 9 statement. Bird, 138. The e-scooter startup laid off 23% of its staff, a move that TechCrunch calculated on June 7 as equal to around 138 employees. Bird did not respond to a request for confirmation. Sonder, 200. The short-term rental website said in a June 6 securities filing that it was cutting 21% of its corporate workforce and 7% of £OC frontline roles. At the end of 2021, the company said it had 800 salaried and 800 hourly employees. Sonder did not respond to a request for confirmation of the total. Policy Genius, 170. The online insurance company cut about 25% of its staff, Axios reported June 6, citing company confirmation. Carbon Health, 250. The healthcare company eliminated about 8% of its workforce, citing £pound changing market conditions in a June 2 statement. Maylace Work, 300. The cybersecurity startup confirmed to Protocol on May 25 that job cuts affected 20% of staff. The Pragmatic Engineer, a newsletter, said the total came to about 300 jobs. Lacework did not respond to a request for confirmation. Bolt, 250. The online payments startup eliminated about a third of its workforce as part of what CEO Majid Karevala called a broad restructuring, Bloomberg reported May 25, citing an anonymous source. Bolt confirmed that it laid off a third of its workforce but declined to provide an absolute number. Butler Hospitality, 1000. The startup, a kind of £pound ghost kitchen model for hotel room service, quietly dissolved May 13, laying off its entire workforce, TechCrunch reported. Zwift, 150. The indoor cycling and sports app laid off about 150 people and cancelled its hardware plans, sports tech journalist Ray Maker reported May 12, citing sources. A spokesperson for Zwift declined to confirm the figure. Reef, 750. The startup that finds alternative uses for parking lots laid off 5% of its workforce, citing the broader economy, the information reported May 6. Reef did not respond to a request for confirmation. March Curology, 147. The skincare website cut about 20% of its workforce March 16, according to the San Francisco Business Times, citing state filings. Knock, 115. The home buying and home selling startup said in a press release March 15 that it needed to cut costs because of turmoil in the housing market. Bloomberg reported 46% out of 250 workers were affected. A spokesperson said the Bloomberg report was £pound close but declined to provide an exact number. Better.com, 3000. The online mortgage lender laid off about a third of its workforce in March. It has continued layoffs since then without providing a number, TechCrunch reported in August. A spokesperson for Better.com did not immediately know the total number of people affected. Adaptive Biotechnologies, 100. The startup, which researches the human immune system, told the Seattle Times on March 9 that it was laying off about 12% of its workforce. Hyperscience, 100. The document processing software startup laid off about 25% of its staff, the information reported March 3. Hypescience did not respond to a request for confirmation. February. Virgin Hyperloop, 111. The experimental transport company confirmed to the Financial Times on February 21 that it was pivoting to focus on freight, affecting nearly half its staff.